Hi guys, I hope you're doing okay back there. Um, in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the spread of two different diseases. We're going to be looking at the way it spread, the geographical factors that encouraged its spread, as well as looking at its impacts and the responses to those diseases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start recording this video. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to start by looking at some images. So what I'd like us to do, we're going to call this kind of a flash slideshow. I would like you to try to identify the disease that we're looking at here. I'd like you to think about whether it's vector-borne or waterborne. I'd like you to identify the way the disease spreads and see what connection you can see between these 6 images. So I'm going to put each image up quite fast. Just give you a moment to think about that. Identify the disease, identify whether it's vector-borne or waterborne, identify the way the disease spreads, and consider the specific connection between the 6 images in the slideshow. So image 1. Image 2. Image 3. Image 4. Image 5. And image 6. So by now you've probably, I can see from the conversation tabs that you've been saying this is vector-borne. The mosquito is what transfers this disease. Yeah, I can see that it affects tropical environments. Yeah, and some of you are correctly recognizing this as being the Zika virus. Okay, if I ask you to do another quick activity for me, thinking about the images that you've just seen, could you try to think about the order of importance? Which one would be most important to the least important of those factors? I'll just show you again those images. So we saw this slum environment. We saw some of the distances which the mosquito travels. It travels only short distances from where it's hatched. We see really the tropical climate and the areas that are affected by Zika virus, past transmissions and most recent transmissions, mosquito itself, the problem with the unborn child associated with Zika, and this issue here around stagnant water that gets stored in kind of disused pots and litter in people's backyards. So consider the factors that are most important. I'll just give you a moment to do that. And then I'm going to suggest a certain order for you. So primarily, we might say that the climate is what has the big impact on the spread of Zika. So climatic and environmental conditions, tropical, humid climates. Just having a problem with the technology. So climatic conditions are the most important factors. They encourage the conditions which make the mosquito disperse disease, lays its larvae in tropical climates. It's also dry conditions as well, which enable mosquitoes to spread. So the mosquito is really important for this. So without that, we wouldn't have Zika. And then we've got kind of rapid urbanization rates, high density housing, urban poverty, so very poor environmental conditions which encourage the spread of the disease amongst people. And part of that poor environment is stagnant water and poor management of waste. So many places being available for. And so finally, we might talk about this factor here, where mosquitoes travel just a short distance. So the higher number of people that are living within the kind of the type of distance these mosquitoes will move makes a big difference to the likelihood of the spread of the disease. So what am I asking you to do in this lesson? Well, there are a number of resources which look at the spread of the disease. In this case, you're looking at the Aedes aegypti mosquito and how that could potentially move across from Brazil northwards into the USA. But it starts actually with giving you a history of its movement out of Africa. So you can follow through these resources as you go. Moving on to the responses of the responses in Brazil to the Zika virus. And then it introduces the cholera outbreak in Haiti. Now, what I think is really important when you're looking at these resources is to consider what geographical factors will influence the spread of the disease. So when we think of geographical factors, try to think in the broadest framework: social, economic, environmental factors. And if we think about the broadest term, we might start with climatic factors, that Zika virus will spread within mainly tropical climates. It also will impact countries at lower levels of development, where we have those pressures, those population pressures of high density populations within slum environments, where the environmental issues of managing waste, of managing water, poor sanitation, poor access to water, as well as kind of poor water storages, create the environment for mosquitoes to thrive and then spread this disease. So you're looking there at both economic factors as well as social factors, and then moving into environmental issues. In addition to that, another factor which will influence the spread of the disease will be the quality and scale of the responses to that disease. And so you see actually contrasting responses to cholera in Haiti, as well as in terms of the big military responses to Zika in Brazil. So these lesson resources leads you to this essay: discuss the geographical factors responsible for the incidence and spread of vector-borne and waterborne disease. And those tips that I give you on how to structure this essay are found in the box below. So I hope that goes well, and that's 2 lessons worth of work there. So good luck with that. And again, continue to put your questions to this on the Teams page, and I will get back to you really, really quickly.